Great. Well, hi, my name is Matt Umbro. I'm Senior Account Manager in charge of community at Hennepin Marketing. We're doing a web series of Hero Conf speakers, and today we're excited to introduce Brad Geddes and interview him. So, Brad, thank you for participating.
Thanks for asking me.
Great. So, obviously we're all looking forward to Hero Conf. You've been to the last few, and it's something that continues to grow year over year. So I guess the first question for you is just to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be speaking at Hero Conf.
Sure. So I'm Brad Geddes. I've been in this industry, gosh, since 1998, which I'm not even sure how many years that is anymore, right? It's been a long time. So I've kind of run the gamut of agency, reseller, consultant, you name it. I've probably been involved in it at some point in time. And at HeroCon, I find just as an industry as a whole, right, we're going back to learning about customers and the message, but at scale, right, at customizers and so forth. And in that, there's just so much you can learn about users and customers if you test correctly. So I'm going to go over sort of like an ad testing framework that will let you as a business ask the tough questions of yourself and then get the answers from consumers so that you can learn not just how to test ads, but you can take business insights that you could use beyond paid search on landing pages, your website, email, and other places.
Yeah, and I think you bring up an interesting point because more and more PPC isn't just PPC. I mean, there's so much more involved to having a great PPC campaign, whether it be web development, testing, as you mentioned, SEO, knowing how to code and all that. So, definitely some valid points there.
Yeah, exactly, right. And business insights, I mean, there are things that you often hire a third party and give them, hey, $10,000 or whatnot, right, to have them interview your customers and do this or that. You're already spending the money, right? So you can dictate the message and get not everything a third party could do, but not everyone has the budget to hire this either. And you can get those same insights that you would hire a third party for with the money you're currently spending anyway, and just leverage it in multiple ways.
Agreed. So what are you hoping that people get out of your sessions?
Well, number one, understand why this is important, right? That's always the big step, is why this is an important topic. But two, to be able to walk away and ask themselves these questions, but not just ask them, but execute on them as well, so they can do it for themselves. I mean, that's at the end, right? When you attend a conference, is to learn not just the high-level stuff, but the execution level, so you can go do it. And that's the big takeaway, is how to do it.
So just out of curiosity, whenever you yourself read a blog post, excuse me, or attend a conference, what are you personally hoping to get out of it? And not necessarily the specific topic, but what do you hope to learn or glean from the presentation or post?
So I've been in this industry for a long time. So my goal is to either take some nugget out that I didn't realize, right, which happens with especially new features, or to get a different viewpoint of seeing the same information. We all have our own viewpoint of how we view things, and sometimes just seeing a second, third, or fourth viewpoint can expand how you view things and use it in different ways. And so often I want their viewpoints that's different than mine, whether I agree or not, because it just gives me more data points to kind of think of and use.
Yeah, no, those are great points, and certainly, anything you can glean, or I for example, always try to showcase one or 2 points and hope the reader gets that away, or the person in the audience. So the next question is, obviously you've been to Hero Conference before, but what do you find different about it, and why do you like that?
So the one thing I like about HeroCon is it's vertical, right? It's one subject, it's paid search. And with a lot of conferences, paid search is a single track. So either you want to see the session or you don't. And if you don't want to see it, then you're going to, maybe there's an SEO session or something you want to see. I mean, their advantage, right, is they have multiple tracks. But the disadvantage is if you don't want to see the PPC session and you're a paid search professional, you're going to go hang out and waste an hour. And with HeroCon, because it's a few tracks of just paid search, then if you don't want to see one, you probably want to see a second one. So it from a paid search standpoint, it's a really productive day.
So you kind of led into this with your answer, but I mean, how do you feel about going to an all PPC event, and how does it compare to the other industry events like the SMXs of the world, the ClickC Lives of the world, those conferences?
Sure. So I mean, they're different, right? It's not better or worse. So if someone wants to catch a little PPC and a little social and a little SEO and some website conversion, then they should totally go to an SMX or something. If they want paid search with more in depth than you usually get at the conferences, right? Because I mean, one of my favorite sessions last year was on human resources and paid search, right? Which is just something that you would never get at a conference with multiple tracks, right? You'd never get that in depth with something. And how to run and grow agencies, right? These are things that you only really get at a paid search specific conference like HeroCon. And so that's one of the real advantages of it, is you get into details you would never touch on because they're not popular enough at a big conference. But here, hey, if 50 people really want to learn how to grow their agency, it can be a session. And that's great to have such a deep dive at something.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking about those topics that are important but aren't necessarily mainstream is definitely huge. So bonus question for you. One, have you been to Portland before?
Yes, I have been to Portland before.
And what do you like about it?
So I was at a conference at Portland a few years ago that was held at the zoo.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of interesting, right? Because if you wanted a break, you could go wander the zoo, and it was actually, I did in the middle of the day. And so actually Portland's got a fantastic zoo. It's a Pacific Northwest city, so it's nice and laid back. I have not been to Portland enough to really know the ins and outs of what to see and do, but I have spent time at the Portland Zoo and a little bit of time in Portland.
That's great. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you at Hero Conf, and as always, you'll bring great knowledge to the table. So thank you again, Brad, for being a guest here.
Oh, and thank you for inviting me to speak at HeroCon. It's always a great time. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you there April 27th through the 29th in Portland, Oregon.
Perfect. Sounds good.